Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show, episode 811. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
What's up, guys?
All right, so yesterday, Chris showed me, well, why don't you tell them what you showed me yesterday?
Yeah, so somewhere online, a clip from Shin Gojira, and this has been happening recently.
Yeah.
A clip from Shin Gojira leaked, and there was actually two, but one leaked it like a day or two before the other. The first one was the initial attack by, I guess, what we're calling Shin Gojira's technical second form.
Wonderful.
Like his eel form, the first form that we see in the movie.
Yeah.
I have to say, it looks bad. It looks really bad. And now, before we go any further, I just want to make two things clear. Because I keep seeing these comments because I don't think people are watching the prior videos,
Right.
which isn't their fault. But no, we're not hating on Godzilla.
Oh, absolutely not.
We just do not like this particular version of the character. B, yes, I have seen Anno's other work that doesn't excuse what he's done in this movie, in my opinion.
Correct.
I don't like it. But anyway, this was the first attack in the city. The second clip was right after that. I believe it happens right after in the movie. Is the form change from his second form to what's being called his third form, or the second form that we see in the movie, where he stands upright and his skin is a bit darker and he grows arms and his gills shrink. I gotta say, again, I don't like it. And it's not that the CGI is bad. I just think it's just kind of funny where it shouldn't be funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is supposed to be serious. Like, the problem is getting worse. But, like, Godzilla is getting stronger, But I'm on board with the form-changing idea, but I don't like these two forms. I think these forms look ridiculous. I understand what they were going for with the whole evolution, that he's a lesser life form at first, and then he progresses throughout the movie. But I gotta say, I think they should have gone about it a much different way.
Well, what you brought up makes a lot of sense, meaning that people don't watch our other videos and they just assume that we're Godzilla haters. I mean, nobody's seen the video where I whipped out like 20 some odd Godzilla DVDs or VHS or toys or whatever, and over the years how much money we've all both spent and how much we love the series, buying the magazines, everything. So that's, any little thing we say, it comes off as hatred. We just got heat today for the Wonder Woman video, which was like a week ago, saying that we didn't agree. Well, I didn't agree with it, and then other people said their opinions. But, you can't even talk anymore without people just assuming that it's hatred, and it's not hatred. I just purchased on Amazon the only DVD that I needed for my entire collection, The Return of Godzilla, which is labeled Godzilla 1984, which originally was Godzilla 1985 that I know of. And I will have a complete collection until Shin Gojira comes out, and then I'll have to buy that. But no, I love Godzilla. I bought the video games. I've always been into it since I was a child, watching Godzilla on Thanksgiving and all that stuff, and knowing all the monsters and everything. And we are allowed not to like one Godzilla movie. We just did a cast on Star Wars, and not everybody that's a Star Wars fan liked the prequels. It doesn't mean that people that hated the Star Wars prequels are Star Wars haters. So I think that needs to be addressed, that, you could have, let's say, 30 Godzilla movies, and if you don't like one, it's okay. Just like Star Trek. I didn't like Star Trek Into Darkness. Daniel didn't like Star Trek Beyond. It doesn't mean that Daniel's a Star Trek hater because he loves Star Trek, and it doesn't mean I'm a Star Trek hater. So people just got to know, basically, where we're coming from, and we're not going to like everything you like, and we're not, just because we don't like one movie does not label us with negativity as haters. That's all I have to say.
Right.
In a nutshell. I don't agree. I differ from Chris's opinion. I don't agree and I don't accept that Godzilla has 4 forms, 26 forms, whatever. It's nonsense. It goes against everything that they complained with Godzilla 1998 version, Matthew Broderick, where they said that was extreme, but then they go beyond extreme. And to me, I don't think that we're going to have Godzilla movies that are a sequel to Shin Gojira. If we do, okay, I'll watch it. But I have a feeling our classic Godzilla is going to be returning very soon, whether it be animated form or whatever. So, everybody gets a choice in this case. So there you go. And you also don't want to make the monster so powerful that he could destroy the Earth, because then he can never fight anybody, and it's not believable. And I think that's, in order for them to have a Shin Gojira sequel, it would be pretty impossible, because they would have to take Shin Gojira off Earth and battle like Ghidorah or something, I would think. Because they want to be destroying planets and stuff. I mean, that's just, the powers of Shin Gojira are just unbelievable. And it's not believable that cities could survive. Anything you want to add to that? Or?
Well, I mean, one thing though, Godzilla's always been classified as a threat that could potentially destroy a planet.
Right.
My take on it, though, I agree with what you're saying. My take on it, though, is a little bit different. I don't see how you could have this version of Shin Gojira fight anything when, if anything tries to fight him, he can just shoot a billion lasers out of his body and basically make any other monster he fights look like Swiss cheese.
Right.
The only way, and I stand by what I said in a previous cast, is that I don't think that the lasers would have the same effect on another monster that they do toward like buildings and stuff. But what I don't understand about this movie is they gave him all these powers, but he's not fighting anything. Traditionally, Godzilla really doesn't need to do much to take out a human task force when it's just conventional weaponry. Why this Godzilla has to have 100 lasers that shoot out of his back doesn't really make sense to me. I don't understand that. And then there's the tail laser, which just drives me up the wall. That is the most ridiculous thing I think Godzilla's done recently. I know he's done crazy things in the past, but recently I think that's the most ridiculous thing Godzilla's ever done. By recently I mean the past 10 years.
If I could say something controversial.
Go for it.
I like to do a lot of different things. I like to write.
Yeah.
I like to manage. I like to, my other jobs, whatever, run things, whatever. And I even joked about politics one day, right?
Yeah.
Which I was serious about that, politics one day. But anyway, I never intended to be a filmmaker. I was never going to do that. But when I realized that this movie, from what we've seen, is making 60, 70, 80 million dollars, I'm like, wow. I remember holding a flashlight and moving, and it looked exactly like that special effect with the laser. You know what I'm talking about, right? With the laser beams from the tail go right through it. Yeah. I'm like, wow, if they could make this much money and this looks like crap to me, imagine if I could do better. Because I'm like, that is just, the budget is probably so low by American standards. Maybe $1 million, right? And it's laughable. We could not have that. A lot of people would probably think it's a joke.
Let me tell you, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to commend Toho for two things. One, that they're using motion capture. I think that's great. I think that's a huge step in the right direction. I'm all for that. And I can forgive the bad CGI. I'm not going to scrutinize them for that.
Right.
What I am going to scrutinize them for is I don't know Toho used to have this really tight grip on Godzilla and be like, you can and can't do certain things, right?
Right.
I feel like that they let go with this movie, and they were like, you know what, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Because there are parts in this movie that are supposed to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
But I can't take them seriously when...
Chris, just give me 2 minutes. Okay, you can talk.
I can't take, and this is just me personally, but I can't take this movie seriously when you have things like the way Godzilla's first two forms look. What I mean by them going in a different route was maybe not make them look as goofy as they do, because to me, you're going to lose your audience there for a little bit. Like, and it's working in Japan, but in other places, it's not. And I know that this movie is very politically charged with things that are currently occurring in Japan with their politics, and they're taking very heavily off of the Fukushima disaster, which I think is the right thing to do in this movie. But when you have those things in mind, you think, okay, this is going to be a really serious movie. And then his second and third form show up and they look like that. And it's just like, wait a minute. I thought this was supposed to be taken seriously. Like, for example, in probably the most ridiculous thing Godzilla's ever done was in Godzilla vs. Hedorah, where he flies. That movie, you're not supposed to take that too seriously, because they had the cartoon bits, they had the stuff with the kid, you know, they had all those other things in there that made you think, all right, this isn't really supposed to be serious. But then Godzilla starts flying, and you're like, okay. That's kind of funny. Yeah, remember in Versus the Smog Monster?
Oh, it's like
he starts flying.
Tails up.
No. When he uses his atomic breath and he flies in the air.
Okay.
That's the most ridiculous thing Godzilla's ever done for me. That you're supposed to kind of laugh off because the movie's not really that serious.
Right.
But this one in Shin Gojira, you want me to take this seriously with all this political and disaster stuff. And there's a part in this movie where his tail is shooting a laser and he's swinging his tail around with this laser. And I'm sitting there like, this is hilarious.
Well, Chris, for me, the breaking point with Shin Gojira is the eyeball of that creature that it looks like a toy.
It does.
Rubber toy.
It does.
That was given CGI special effects.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this and I'm like genuinely embarrassed. Like, I would not watch this movie with a group of people. I would have to watch it myself because I can't believe that that's a movie. And again, it goes down to how much money did they spend on this movie? Not a lot.
Well, here's the thing about that, though. Apparently, they did spend a lot.
Well, what is
because
a lot?
They had
for
to
them?
have outside funding for this, too.
Well, what's a lot for their standards?
Probably more than any other Godzilla movie that they've made.
And what's the most they spent on a Godzilla movie? $5 million?
I'm not really sure, but I know that they were looking for outside funding.
This is no $100 million, Chris.
Well, no. I don't think it's anywhere near that. But what I'm saying is, it's.
Could we get a still of that creature with the eye, so people can know what we're talking about?
Yeah. Well, what talking.
I
about
do apologize for me dropping in and out. I lost a tooth the other day, and I had some dental work, and I'm starting to get a little nauseous. So I was in and out getting a drink and whatever. So, remind me.
Talking about kind of what, the funding with this movie and whatnot, they were looking for outside funding for this movie. So I don't think it's anything cheap. I can't think it's anything cheap because they needed funding for this.
And I'm not sure. Here's the thing that people don't understand, right? Just because I don't like it, just because you don't like it, right?
Yeah. We
don't want it to fail.
No, absolutely not.
Because if it fails, we will not see Godzilla for another 20 years. And we're not getting any younger, by the way. So, unless I stop the aging process. But, I mean, like, seriously, I really don't want to be in a wheelchair or in a diaper, right?
Okay, I don't know why that did that.
Well, that was weird. By the time the next Godzilla movie comes out. So, that's all right. What were we seeing? A tail? What was that?
That was partially my screensaver, which is a fan-made Godzilla design, and partially
Okay.
what we were looking for. Hold on,
Okay.
let me fix that. I know why that did that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I
want to see Godzilla movies every year if I
I
could.
agree with you. I do. I'm excited for this animated movie that they're doing, and here, can you see that?
Yeah, that's
That's it.
first of all, that's better than what we see though.
This is like a resin model, I think.
That's
and this
actually better. If you could get a still of if you could pause it, and then
Oh no, we can't put that video in here.
No, I mean just a paused still of it.
I don't even think they have. I know that there are pictures, but
We can't pause it ourselves.
no.
Oh, we'll get in trouble.
Go nuts. So you
Oh shoot! All right.
Oh well, I got a picture of it here though. This is what you're looking for, I think.
Yeah, I want to laugh because
yeah, this is funny.
This is the eye is just reminds me of 11th Hour, Eye in the Sky, but it was just horrible. I mean,
Okay, here we go. That one.
Okay. I'm gonna leave it on there for a little while.
Yeah.
So, this looks like a toy, right? Blown up. Just imagine having Buzz Lightyear and Woody supersized and then trying to make it like they're going to destroy everybody. This looks like a rubber toy from Animal Planet or whatever it is. It's not, the eyes are just not, there's nothing that has those eyes. That's like human eyes or weird.
Wait. I just want to jump in because I know we're going to get a comment for that. This is the reason he has such huge eyes.
Okay.
Is because this form of Godzilla is not his first form. This is technically like form 5. In his evolution.
I see he's got the spikes on his head like a crown, though. Like Godzilla's
No,
spikes.
that's just because he's diving. They're actually on his back. But this is the thing. The reason that he has such huge eyes is because this is supposed to be his deep sea form. Like, and there are animals in the deep sea that have eyes like that.
Could this be like? Could you watch this movie and say, okay, that's Rodan, that's Anguirus, that's or no?
No, I wouldn't say that.
They wouldn't say like that's what they're trying to say. Like it's all many creatures just getting.
That's what they're going with, but they're not saying it's other kaiju. What they're going for with this Godzilla is that
it's all different DNA.
Yeah, he's a life form composed of everything that's already on Earth in one creature.
So couldn't it not technically be Godzilla? It's just like a.
No, this is Godzilla. They confirm that this is him. Because people were wondering, oh, maybe this is like another Godzilla, and they're like, no, this is Godzilla. This is the first time that Godzilla himself has ever appeared in this universe and has ever attacked, and yada yada yada. Because this is the thing with this Godzilla. The reason why before I said this is like Form 5, I was exaggerating a little, but I'm not exaggerating too much because this Godzilla starts out as microscopic organisms.
Right.
That get irradiated by nuclear waste that's put at the bottom of the ocean by the United States, which is something that the United States actually does. And what I'm assuming is that these things, they're called mixotrophs. They absorbed the energy. They amalgamated into one form. That form continued to evolve to a point where it literally starts eating the waste at the bottom, because there's a part in this movie where they show deep sea pictures of these nuclear waste containers with bite marks in them. So then he's like a creature that we don't see. Then he turns into this that we do see, which is the first thing that we see of him in the movie, other than that red ooze that he comes up from. Then it's the second form. Then it's the form that we see, the first thing we saw of him in the trailer way back when, the form that he is best known for.
Right.
And then apparently his next form was going to be the humanoid Godzilla monsters that come out of his tail.
Oh, God.
Which, by the way, there's a clip of that on the internet as well that I have seen, and yes, it's just as ridiculous as we thought.
Okay. has this been reviewed by American audiences yet?
Yes.
What is the feedback?
IGN is in love with this movie.
Oh my god.
They think it's fantastic.
Oh my god.
I don't remember what they gave it, but they gave it a pretty high rating.
Oh wow.
James Rolfe from Cinemassacre, the Angry Video Game Nerd, he saw the movie. He loved the movie.
What?
It was better than 2014.
Really? That's surprising.
He didn't like 2014 when it came out.
Okay.
But I will say this. He said basically the same thing we're saying about this form of Godzilla. He said that this looks like the giant claw, and he's right. It does kind of remind me of the giant claw. But he loved the movie. I know a whole bunch of people who have seen the movie, whether they watched it in Japan and came back here, loved it.
Will we like it, do you think? As much as we're saying?
I'm not going to like it, no. I can't. Like, I might like the human stuff that they do because that all sounds really intriguing to me. But the problem is when you have a monster like this, when you have a version of Godzilla like this that does things that I just don't agree with, I can't get into the movie. I can't.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty much thinking that I'm not going to like it, but then again, I may like it. I don't know.
Well, this is my thing. They're definitely going to make some form of sequel to this. Or they're going to make another Godzilla movie. I am under the impression that they're going to make a sequel to this.
But wouldn't he just stop changing form at some point?
Well, this is my thing, right? There's something that worries me about whether they do a sequel for this. If they do a sequel for this, to me, I have a very funny feeling they're going to go along with this human monster Godzilla form for the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm not sure of is that going to be the movie with those things, or are they going to say there's another Godzilla, or this Godzilla comes back and he fights the human things in his tail because they're not really supposed to be there or something? My idea for a sequel is that you either A, have this Godzilla come out of his frozen state and look different, like more traditional, just updated, because I have a really cool idea of what this version of Godzilla could look like, more traditional, as a more traditional Godzilla. Or B, there's another Godzilla that either goes along a different evolutionary track or is further down the track that this one went and he looks more traditional.
Okay.
Either way, I think what they have to do is make a more traditional Godzilla. Because if they do that, I'll shut up. And
Right.
I'll just watch the movie.
As long as they don't keep changing form, though.
Right, but the thing that I'm worried about is that they're going to say, hey, you know what? You know what the next movie's going to be? Remember those human things in his tail? Those are your Godzillas.
Oh,
and I'm going to be like, no, because I don't like that idea at all.
Now, the animated has nothing to do with this.
As far as we know, no, it has nothing to do with this.
And besides the animated, the sequel is so far Shin Gojira 2, right?
That's what I'm assuming, yeah.
Okay. Anything else Godzilla related? What's the villain? I mean, we don't even know if there would be. Would the villain be from his tail? I mean, we don't know, right?
Well, that's what I'm assuming they would do.
Mm.
Because I have this idea that maybe he gets out of that frozen state that they put him in, and
Fights himself.
he fights the things in his tail. They come out of his tail and he fights them. But he couldn't, like, they're only like a couple 100 feet. Like, I know that sounds like a lot, but like they're much smaller than him. So I don't know how they would, like, maybe they change, maybe they combine.
Right.
You know, just put like spoilers when you make the title for this.
Okay, spoilers. Shin Gojira.
Shin Gojira, yeah, because we were talking about the ending. But I don't like. They could make another monster because there's an aspect of this movie where they say, like, they get a piece of his skin, and they're like, oh, it's regenerating. It's gonna turn into something. And they're like, this is how he must reproduce. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, yes, Godzilla has a regeneration factor, but it doesn't happen when pieces are blown off of him.
Right.
His main body regenerates,
Right.
but not like the pieces. They don't turn into other things.
It's like a meta-crisis Godzilla.
Yeah. So I guess maybe the pieces of him could turn into other kaiju, like Shin Rodan and
Oh my God.
Shin Anguirus and Shin Baragon. Heaven forbid they do like a Shin King Ghidorah, because I could only imagine. He'll have like 19 heads, and people will be like, this is great, embrace change! And I'll be sitting here like, shut up.
Yeah, no.
There is good change and there is bad change.
Right.
This is leaning towards bad for me.
This is, to me, it's like a nightmare. Like I dream this.
That's what they wanted to do, though.
And it's like...
they were like, when they originally did this, they're like, this is going to be Nightmare Godzilla. And I'm like, this is hilarious Godzilla. I don't know what...
Pretty much. I mean, if that's what Godzilla really was, it's a nightmare. But yeah, it is. Okay. All right, Chris, I'm getting depressed. Just let's talk about something else. We're going to go to another Everything show if we can. Take care. Bye for now.